So it's a week after Hday. I've been trying to get in the back in the groove of things. Little recap, as you've seen in the beginning of the video, weather was not good. We didn't end up getting a qualifier. We only took one qualifier Saturday with my red car. And Brianna, we ended up taking one qualifier with her car Saturday as well, but then the class didn't finish, so they had to redo that whole qualifying session. They gave everybody in the sport front class one more qualifier Sunday morning. Now, we qualified out of 33 cars. We were sitting number 33 on the list, so we were actually an alternate with Brianna's car. So what ended up happening is Ricky from CLM, unfortunately, was not able to make his round. So we ended up, like I said, we were an alternate. So we were able to jump in on his spot and be able to race in the show. So, which was lucky. Like we weren't racing unless somebody was broken. You know, we were going to be a fill-in at that point. So with Brianna's car, our first round, we ended up getting a whole shot win. She went 8-0 something to the other person's 790 something. So, you know, it was just a whole shot win. I believe the other racer was like a 300 light to her 200 light. So we got very lucky there. We moved on to round 2 later that evening, and we ended up going 789 at 181 with Brianna's car, which is a huge accomplishment for us. That was our main goal. Like, as you guys see in the beginning of the video, you know, weeks prior of me getting the cars ready, you know, that I was saying it, you know, after World Cup, the data was there for improvement, and everything just, it worked out, you know, and we ended up going 789 with the car, and it's such a big accomplishment for the team, like a really big accomplishment, because, you know, not too many people use the K-Series platform in the sport front. So we're still, you know, still learning a lot, looking at the data. There is still room for improvement. I'll just, you know, leave it like that. You know, we're not expecting anything. You know, we're still trying to just keep the car together and be competitive. But there is room for improvement. I'd say in the near future, the car could go like a bottom 80 to a high 79, you know, 779. In the right conditions, you know, Brianna doing her job and everything. Both cars came home running. So with my vehicle, we ended up qualifying number 2 out of 14, which was a big accomplishment for my little brother. You know, his first event racing, and qualifying number 2 is, you know, it's a big deal. We were essentially the second fastest car in the motor class on property, which was awesome. We went 931 at 149, which is the highest mile an hour right now ever ran at an actual event, you know, passing through Scales and Tech. So we were stoked about that. Our main goal was to try to get the car to go back into the 20s. It's just, with these cars, like the front half, the conditions have to be like ideal. Everything has to be right. Shift points, track conditions, weather. There's so much with the motor car. It's different with turbo car. Like, there's more stuff that, at least a lot more room for error. With the motor stuff, it's, you know, it's a lot harder. But that being said, we were still happy as hell. Everything worked out. Our first round with this car, we ended up getting a bye because the other racer was broken. So the track ended up getting better. And that's the thing. And like I said, with the M1 cars, it's very hard because you got to be able to read the track and then make the right adjustments. Now, we made an adjustment and it wasn't enough, and we ended up bogging this car, and it bogged it hard. It pretty much shut the car off. And like I said, we ended up winning first round because it was just a bye. So we didn't end up racing second round until late at night, and the track conditions got completely different than what they were in the afternoon. So we made some adjustments, and I was just explaining to my little brother, like, listen, we may have went in the wrong direction. Just be prepared to essentially pedal the car if it starts getting out of hand. And, again, it's a lot to handle for somebody. It's his first event. It would have been only his fifth time in the car. So it's a lot to handle. So what ends up happening is we end up racing Wendell, and we end up going the wrong direction with the two-step, and the car ends up just essentially doing a burnout and pulled hard to the left. So we ended up losing that round, which, listen, like I told my little brother, he was more upset about me. I don't care. It is what it is at that point. I don't, both cars going home. He did a hell of a job. We're sitting, I think, number 4 on the OGS list now. And I also think, like, even out of the top 10 in the world on M1, I think we're still sitting in that, top 5 tier, which is freaking awesome. It's like I can't ask for anything else. With both cars. I mean, Brianna's car, for the X front stuff, I think we're sitting like number 3 or number 4 on top 10 for X front sport front wheel drive platforms. So both cars are definitely going in the right direction. But we had a hell of a weekend. On one of Brianna's qualifiers, we ended up breaking the transmission. So I had to fix that. Just a whole bunch of stuff. Like always, it's like we was always going to expect some type of carnage on one of the cars. We try to hope that doesn't happen, but unfortunately, sometimes stuff tends to happen that way. So the next outing for both cars is going to be Norris's event at Capitol. It's presented by Nopi as well. We're going to put Brianna's car in the X front class, and they are trying to put together an M1 class for us, which is pretty cool. Be cool to get the cars back out again and racing. So that's going to be the next outing with it. We're about 3 weeks out from the event. There's a decent amount of stuff we got to fix on Brianna's car. We ended up ripping off the fender on the driver's side, so I got to address that. And there's a few other things that I got to upgrade that needs to be addressed before we go and take the cars to the next event. My car, I just got to do a little freshen up on it, and should be ready to jam. So that's going to be the next event for us. And again, with both cars, I'm looking to just be, more consistent and just be competitive. That's really it. If we happen to go faster and get new PBs, and that's just the timing is right for us. If not, and the cars come back home, it's a win for us. So that's pretty much how everything went. I'm gonna try and get more footage. It's so hard. Like, I thought me not driving, I would have so much more time. So it's just still, like, now I understand why, like, a lot of teams, like, hire media guys to just do all the coverage, because it's one less thing they have to worry about. Like, there was so much shit that I should have recorded that I just didn't have the time. Like, me taking the transmission out, like, I should have set the phone up on the dock and just, had it rolling. But it was like me and my little brother ended up staying out that night to get the car back together till like 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's like, it was a lot for me to just, essentially situate. So at the Capitol event, I'm going to try to document a little bit more to see if, if I can capture more of, how we essentially roll out and get there and set up and, and such and such. So I'm going to try a little harder with doing things a little different. But I hope that the coverage that I got you guys enjoy, and we're going to continue, keep trying to kick ass and try to be as competitive as possible. Like I was saying, both Brianna and my little brother Nick, they both did a kick-ass job at Hday. They ended up, for Brianna's class, well, for all the classes, they ended up cutting everybody short, and then ended up splitting the pot. So Brianna ended up walking away with some cash, which was cool. Essentially just going to go right back into the car. But we were anxious to do another round just because we were very light with Brianna's car, and it was performing very well. So we're eager to get back out to the Capital event and see, exactly what the outcome is going to be. But I will keep everybody in the loop, and I appreciate everybody for watching and supporting us. There was a lot of people at the track that came to the pits, and we're buying shirts and merch and all types of stuff. And listen, that stuff helps so much for us. It's like I kill myself to try and maintain both cars, and just every little bit helps. So thanks for that, and all the support and stuff. We really appreciate it. So I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy.